It's a beautiful song. It's very to the point about it. Randy's got that. And he exudes so much good feeling on the end too. So, let's go. Hi there, I'm Joe Tyler. Are you stressed out, wigged out, freaked out, feeling anxious, angry, or depressed? Want to know how people with real mental health problems learn to cope? Keep it right here and get the latest word from experts in the field like me, Joe Tyler, a consumer services assistant at the Jeanne Townsend Hospital, a speaker for the cause for mental health, as well as a state of Nevada NAMI president. Here on Erasing the Stigma, we find hope for people whose lives have become unmanageable. So stay with us for the next few minutes as we erase the stigma for people with mental illnesses. Today, on Erasing the Stigma, we have Dr. Yurshi Goswami, who is a second-year resident at the University of Nevada, Reno Medical School, I believe, right?
I'm with the university, but not medical school. Yeah, it's kind of residency.
Okay. But today we're here to talk about how much schooling that people have to get in order to become psychiatrists, and how if the pay is equitable, it can be working out. But and I know I want to say this up front too, Yurshi, but I think that all state employees are very dedicated to their jobs, and that goes a long way. And I think that the state is pretty giving about, at least with me, about allowing me to do different varying duties and keep my job interesting. So, but for you, help folks to understand at home how much schooling and work is involved in becoming a psychiatrist. I'd like to ask you how long you had to study, and go through. Because I know it's a bachelor's and then it's a PhD or a doctorate and then a specialty. So talk us through that.
Yeah. So it depends on what country you belong to. I'm a foreign medical graduate, so medical school in India is different. The protocol and the whole education system is different from what it is here. I'm aware that you have to be a college graduate here, and then take your competitive MCAT or whatever exam, and then that's how you come into medical school. And then for medical school, you complete your 4 years, and then you do 4 years of residency. In India, I did my intermediate or 12th standard, what we call high school over here, and I took my competitive medical exam, and I landed into medical school. Medical school was about 5.5 years. And after that, I wasn't sure whether I was going to pursue my postgraduate degree back in India or move somewhere else. So I took the steps 1 and the step 2 exams, which you have to take in order to get into a residency program here in US, back in India. And I took a break of like a year. And then I came here.
Because it's so intensive.
It is.
And then the travel for you, that must have been hard too.
Yeah, it was quite a transition, I would say. I had to switch gears. The education system is absolutely even though the medical science is the same, but still the kind of exams I had to take back in the country and then over here were absolutely different. And
then in order to get, and I know some doctors, medical doctors go on and get a not a specialty, but even what they call that. You can even go on and get I can't remember what they call it. What's that? Specialization, and then beyond that, you can even
a fellowship.
You can get a fellowship.
Yeah. Some people do opt for that, but
it's a lot of work. And it seems like do you feel like you want to get in there and practice? Right? You're practicing.
Yeah.
But do you want to be? Do you want to go for all of it or what?
So actually, I'm enjoying different stages. I enjoyed being a first year. Now I'm almost at the end of my second year. And I think the graph goes up, and it's a slow graph. It's not going to happen overnight or in 15 days. So I'm enjoying my time in psychiatry, and I think it's a very vast field. I don't think I can learn everything in 4 years or in 40 years even. And I'm taking my time. I don't think I'm rushing through it. I don't think so.
That's good, because I think it does. In NAMI, we've often talked about how somebody who is going to prescribe medications or help like a psychologist in a talking way too, should need to live with somebody with a mental illness and see what they go through, kind of thing. Because you know, I mean, I'm an individual living with mental illness, and my mom and dad took me back in, but man, it was really hard. I mean, I was very sick for many years, and you know.
It's sacred to me. This field is sacred to me. I've always very psychologically minded, even before I went into medical school.
You had that aptitude for.
I love what I do, and I guess physically there's a limit of suffering, but what you suffer mentally, there's no limit to it. I mean, I believe that mental suffering is far, far more than physical suffering. Somebody who's diagnosed with cancer, there's a limit to that suffering. I mean, you prescribe morphine or pain medications and take care of the other symptoms, and somehow they are still able to feel better with those. But if somebody is a schizophrenic or suffers from a major depressive disorder, nobody knows what they're going through, actually. So.
Yeah, because I had nights, Yoshi, where I would feel anxious, and really high anxiety, and then depressed at the same time. And I wanted to be shot with, like you said, morphine or something to get me through it. You know, because you see people suffer. You know, and then some people, I think the reason for this show is because stigma is so bad, and we stigmatize ourselves, and then it's such a downtrodden kind of a, you know, the clientele to work with. I mean, I love it because I went through it and I can give back. But I mean, you had that aptitude to begin with. But what brought you? Why did you come into the field?
I just love the whole mind thing. I mean, I just love it, and I believe mind is what constructs us as a person. It's not the other organs. It's a subtle thing. It can't be even seen. We can see our brains. We can do an MRI or a CAT scan to look at the brain parts and see those lesions. But as far as our thoughts, our hallucinations, our delusions, our depression, it was so subtle. It's so subtle that I couldn't think of anything else to do. It was so interesting to me, so intriguing to me that I just...
Yeah, and you know, I go to national NAMI conventions, and there's so much to learn. There's so much to learn.
Yeah.
You know?
It is. It's the least understood field, and that's why there's so much stigma, I guess, because we're so scared of the unknown, you know? I mean, something we can see, even if it's syphilis or HIV, I mean, if we can measure it, if we can gauge it, we can treat it, right? But something like depression or anxiety or psychosis, we have no clue. We are trying to go into serotonin, dopamine, and all those chemicals. But the fact is that there's no way to measure it, there's no way to see it, and that's why, because we are so scared, that the first reaction, the first defense mechanism that comes through is fear, and so we start, you know, we just start this stigmatization of, you know, those fears, and I guess that's what it is.
But one question I wanted to get to you now, I know that the state of Nevada, I haven't looked around too much, but I know the state of Nevada does not pay a psychiatrist quite like the veteran. I know that you've looked around at any of the salaries, but I understand that the state doesn't pay as good. And that's something I want to make a plea today, to start looking at salaries for psychiatrists, because I'm afraid we scare people away and don't keep the good ones because we can't pay them as much.
That's true. I don't know. It has been a concern. I mean, people who just graduate, who have so much loans to pay for, and they have such liabilities, they want to make good money when they graduate.
Yes, I mean, because you're going, like you said, for 4 years residency and 4 years medical school, and then
before that college education.
Education too.
Yeah, I mean,
how much do you have in loans? I mean, I can't ballpark figure. Do you have?
Actually, I am fortunate. I don't have any loans because.
Oh my goodness! Wow. Okay.
Back in my country, the medical education is not that expensive. So my parents paid the whole thing.
Oh.
So I don't have any loans. I'm free, and which is nice. I mean, I don't have to pay anything. I know that people here, they have something like 300,000 or
Yes.
sometimes even more than
I know
that.
student loans can get, but usually the interest rate is pretty low on, which is good.
It's getting higher though. I don't know how much is it because I'm not into that, but yeah, it's getting higher each year, and the burden is.
Would you consider working for the state then?
I could.
You could?
Yeah. I love the staff and the patient population, and I just have to see where I live. I'm not sure yet what city, what place. So.
I know. It's hard for us, for the state. I'm speaking on behalf of Cody Feeney and Richard Whitley. It's hard for us to hold good psychiatrists.
Right.
It's just hard, you know.
Yeah, you guys have locums and people who just come and go.
And locums, they have us really because, you know, they can come and go whenever they want to, and it's only a set time, and it's a contract doc, which is bad.
Well, I hope things take a turn and we have somebody permanent, and because I think in psychiatry, continuity of care is very important. A patient has to build a rapport with the psychiatrist and the resident and the whole staff, and if people keep changing, that kind of affects the level of care.
It does.
Yeah,
it does. It hurts continuity of care.
It does.
People change.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for being on. Good job.
Thank you.
So that's our show for today, and I hope that you got a chance to get a feel for some of the struggles and things that wannabe psychiatrists go through. Thanks, Yoshi.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for having me here.